Have you ever tried to communicate something really important to your spouse and it didn't seem like they got it and you didn't feel seen and heard? Wow, that is such a terrible place. I know communication is tricky and when it's good, it is just amazing and you feel close. But when it's bad, things can just escalate and both spouses feel shut down. Are you tired of that? I think so. So in today's video, I am going to give you a checklist how to create the best communication. And actually, it's 4 questions that you can ask yourself so that you're on the right track for all this. So make sure you stay to the end though, because I have a best sex ever challenge for this week. I'm Mary Whitman Ortiz of Limitless Intimacy, and I love bringing you the best tips and tools to create great intimacy in your marriage. On this channel, we share communication strategies and intimacy made simple steps, all from a Christian point of view. So if you're new here, please consider subscribing. Okay, back to our question. What do I need to do and say so that I feel seen and heard by my spouse? Yep, this is a loaded one. Everybody needs this one. And just to kind of lay some groundwork, God designed marriage to be a place where the spouses become one. There's this sacred thing that is happening between you, and it's designed spirit, soul, and body, so you have that real sweet spot. But it only happens if you learn how to share your innermost thoughts, feelings, and needs. So communication is a biggie. Are you ready? Here is the list of 4 questions. Question number 1, what's your goal? What's your goal? Now, if you're going on a trip, you'd need a destination, right? Then you can set your GPS and make sure that you'll get there. So what is your goal? Well, I'm actually going to answer all these questions too, because I want to give you that framework. You can see how this affects your marriage specifically. The goal is connection, that unity, that bond, that oneness where you feel strength. So connection is the ultimate. That is where you are seen and heard. And that means communication is not just to vent. You communicate to connect. Communicate to connect. So if you have that goal in mind, then that is going to guide the words that you choose, body language, the intention. I mean, so much is involved here. So the goal is connection. Your second question to ask yourself when you're trying to improve your communication is, what is the ideal outcome and benefit? So yeah, it's connection, but what does that look like? We really want to break this down, make it very, very practical, tangible. So that looks like understanding. You understand each other more. Hey, you'll understand yourself more, and there's a lot of benefit to that as well. But understanding is not agreement. You're 2 different people. That's why you're attracted to each other. You have different opinions, perspectives, backgrounds, the whole bit. But when you understand each other, that's when that connection happens. And look at this. I only get to tell you about me. You are going to tell me about you. That is how we learn to understand each other. Are you getting some value from this? I hope so. If it's yes, will you click that thumbs up and consider subscribing? Okay, now we're going to backtrack. We have our goal, we have our benefit. We have to figure out how to get there, right? What are those steps? So question number 3, and this is a biggie. What is your level of communication? Did you know that there are levels. Well, I use the word fond, like I'm fond of you, as an acronym, FOND. So the F stands for facts. And yes, there are many times you need to share facts with your spouse. Certainly if you're setting up your calendar and you're making sure that somebody picks the kids up after soccer practice. Facts are important. They're not everything. That would be way up here. A deeper level, one step down, is opinion. Ooh, if you share your opinion, you're taking a slight risk. Maybe they won't understand. Maybe they will reject you. Sharing your opinion is where conflict begins. That's just step level 2. We all need to know how to do this well because it happens a lot. The third level, as we get deeper, is N, and that stands for needs. You need to know what your needs are so you can have your needs met. And maybe your spouse is the one to meet that need, maybe not. Maybe you're going to God for that need, maybe you're turning to yourself, maybe you're turning to friends. Finding healthy ways to have your needs met is really important. But when you can trust your spouse and share that with them, I need a hug. I need to feel seen. I need your compassion, not your answer, your solution, but your compassion. All of that is getting deeper and closer. And then we're going to get to the D. I have two words that go with the D. Certainly your desires. And when it comes to sexual intimacy, we need to know what our desires are so we can ask that, we can share that. Another D is your dreams. When you can dream about your future with your spouse, then that means you're picturing the two of you together. We're building longevity. We're building that image of, yep, we're doing life as a couple. So that D is really important. Okay, number 4, are you clear? Now, what this is revealing is that there are types of communication. This is something you've probably heard before. There's passive, aggressive, passive aggressive, and assertive. Assertive is where we are aiming with our communication. Being assertive is, I know what I want, I know how to ask for it. It's out of respect, it's not demanding, it's not just, oh, I don't know, will they ever do it? Being assertive is that place of clarity, and that totally reduces anxiety in the relationship, and it creates safety. Now, if you want some more help to get away from that blow up, meltdown type of communication, or that communication where you're just kind of like roommate status, you want to get past all of that, then you need to learn how to create true intimacy. I have a webinar, How to Create True Intimacy, Emotional and Sexual. Even if your communication is like roommates and you have actual sex problems. So check the description for the link to watch the webinar. It's just available for a limited time, but I promise you that is going to get your marriage closer to that sweet spot of connection. Okay, now what you've been waiting for, this week's Best Sex Ever challenge. And I hope you listened earlier because I gave you some heads up for this. Tell your spouse a desire you have in intimacy. Now, this might be something you want more of or less of. This might be something brand new that you want to try together. So create that safe space to be able to share. It's pretty personal and pretty private, but that is going to bring your sexual intimacy to that best ever place. And hey, what a wonderful overflow of God's blessing in our life. Well, thanks so much for joining me today. And remember, God's design for sexual wholeness in your marriage is fulfilling and thrilling intimacy.